The original religious Zionists, by the way, the ones in Herzl's days, they actually, when the vote came to take Uganda as the Jewish state or Palestine, the religious Zionists, Rabbi Reines, voted for Uganda. There's nationalism on one side and there's Judaism on the other side. And as you see, they're opposites. The original religious Zionists, by the way, the ones in Herzl's days, they actually, when the vote came to take Uganda as the Jewish state or Palestine, the religious Zionists, Rabbi Reines, voted for Uganda. Because we don't care to have Palestine. He wanted a safe place. I understand that. It was wrong and sinful of him to join with the Zionists. No good can come of that. But he wanted a state. He wanted a safe place. So why not Uganda? It certainly looks today like it would be a lot safer than Israel. But why not? If it was easier to get.
Should we be surprised at their actions? Did you know that the land of Israel was not the initial place the Zionists targeted? In fact, at the 6th Zionist Congress at Basel on August 26, 1903, Herzl proposed the British Uganda program, initially targeting Uganda, followed by Canada and Australia. They also targeted Iraq, Libya, and Angola. Believe it or not, they even targeted Texas. What are their long-term goals? Should the Negroes living in the United States have any concerns? Absolutely. I believe the situation in Palestine can quite possibly be a dress rehearsal for things to come. Remember, during Red Summer or Blood Summer of 1919, the United States declared war on the Negroes, which over 36 of our communities were bombed using military forces and other military artillery.
It was the secular Zionists mostly that wanted Palestine because they wanted to create this identity. They wanted an ancient national homeland and they needed an excuse. And Palestine was the religious ones.
And they knew also they'd get the support of Christians if they did it.
Yeah, yes. Now this rabbi, all he wanted was a safe place. You can get me Uganda, I'll take Uganda, right? Whatever. But then came one rabbi who messed it all up. Rabbi Abraham Kook, who was denounced by so many Orthodox Jewish rabbis as an idol worshiper and etc. He was a nationalist. He believed in the philosophy, the 19th century philosophy of nationalism.
Right.
So what he did was a very innovative thing. He created basically a new religion out of Judaism. He reproduced the nationalist philosophy, regurgitated it in Hebrew, rabbinic, even mystical language, and wrote Jewish books of those philosophies. Not saying that he got it from non-Jewish sources, that he got it from nationalism. He pretended as if this is part of Judaism. So what he did was he created a bridge between Judaism and Zionism. He said Zionism is really also Judaism, and not only that, but because of this, the non-religious Jews, the heretical Jews, these Jews that hated Judaism, the Jews that Ben-Gurion referred to Orthodox Judaism as Nazi ideology. He said the idea of Judaism that the Jewish religion doesn't change is Nazi ideology. Yes, it's not. Don't be surprised. He also referred to Vladimir Jabotinsky as Vladimir Hitler. They were very easy. They're very loose with their loosey-goosey with their Nazi insults.
Analogies,
Ben-Gurion. But these guys, they say they're the opposite of Jews.
Right.
But said Rabbi Kook, you think you're the opposite of Jew. It's like a nationalistic Hegelian ideology where the nation is the unit and people are like cells in the nation. That's nationalism, right? That the people, their identity is subsumed in that of the nation. History is the story of nations, not individuals. And the Jewish nation also is a nation, and the individuals are subsumed in it. And just as the nationalist philosopher said, every nation has its character, its driving force, its mind, so to speak. And the people of the nation, just as a cell, as my fingers follow what my mind does, not because the fingers decided to do it, but because my mind did. So the mind of the nation controls the people of the nation, and the mind of the new Jewish nation, that's God. And therefore they're doing God's work, whether they like it or not, or know it or not. Even the rebelling, it was crazy. He said stuff like the soccer players are sanctifying God's name. The guys that played soccer on Shabbos, they're sanctifying God's name, and they're part of they're different parts of a Jewish soul.
Wow,
the different
sounds
parts
like
of everybody's soul. And crazy stuff. But the Zionists ate it up. Now he was a pacifist, actually. Cook. Oh. His son Tzvi Yehuda, who took over for him, was a militant. Because if you're using this,
he really ruined it. That one really ruined it.
Yes, if you're using this untethered, unbound way of interpreting Judaism, which he did. Now nobody knows where he got the stuff from. His people said, "Oh, so deep, it must be Kabbalistic, it must be mystical." Now in the colleges in Israel, I have in my book, the colleges in Israel and books, when they discuss nationalist philosophy, they say, "Okay, this is what this guy called the cunning of reason, and Cook called it this and this." This is well known in academia that Cook just mimicked the nationalist philosophy, but his people, the ones that wanted to believe in Zionism, now they had an excuse. Hey, it's Kabbalistic, it's mystical, and Rabbi Kook, and his son was a militant, and he started the settlement movement. He's responsible for like Gush Etzion and the settlers, and then things just get out of hand. They mixed in. The settlers have the relationship with the land is not a Jewish relationship. Our relationship is it's the holiness of the land.
Right.
That's it. Even when in certain Jewish day schools, Zionist day schools, they teach about Israel, and the Holy Land is important to us. By the way, Israel is not 100% the Holy Land. Part of Lebanon is the Holy Land. Not all of Israel is. A lot is not part of it. But the borders are mostly overlap. How they teach about what plants grow in Israel and what flowers grow in Israel. This to us is nonsense.
Right.
It's
but you don't need even the whole thing about next year in Jerusalem, according to Tony Greenstein, who's not Jewish, but his father was a rabbi, actually. That's not a political, that doesn't mean religious Zionists didn't need to be a nation or a majority, a demographic majority.
What are the goals of the Zionists? What are their true intentions? This official letter signed by President Harry Truman actually answers this question. This letter proves that the true agenda of the Zionists was to create a Jewish state, a European presence in Northeast Africa, which is now called the Middle East, and not the restoration of ancient Israel. The letter reads, "This government has been informed that a Jewish state has been proclaimed in Palestine, and recognition has been requested by the provisional government thereof." Now keep in mind, provisional means arranged or existing for the present, possibly to be changed later. This means the Zionists were officially given a blank check to carry out their agenda worldwide without any pushback from other nations. Now let me start over. This government has been informed that a Jewish state has been proclaimed in Palestine, and recognition has been requested by the provisional government thereof. The United States recognizes the provisional government as the de facto authority of the state of Israel. Now, why did the late President Truman strike through Jewish state and wrote above it State of Israel? Had he not done that, the current land of Israel would actually be called Jewish state. If you can fully grasp Zionism's true intentions, you'd also understand the agenda behind the words Jew and Jewish. You'd fully understand why they make clear distinctions between ancient Israelites versus Jew or Jewish.
No, it means a messianic renewal of the world when the Messiah comes. And by the way, I want you to know that the people in Jerusalem today also say next year in Jerusalem.
Right.
And the reason is because the Jerusalem that exists today is not the Jerusalem that we're praying for.
Right. Yeah.
Studying what kind of flowers and the geography of Israel is like studying about if you have a great rabbi, learning about him, what color hair did he have, what kind of teeth did he have, that's not what's important. What's important is the relationship with God, and what's important about a great rabbi is his teachings and his wisdom, not the physics. They changed all of this, and the settlers have a pagan relationship with the land, because pagan, it's like a blood and soil relationship with the land, which is not, they die for the land. Dying for land is not a Jewish concept.
Right.
Even though Zionists have this story about Joseph Trumpeldor, Zionist legend says when he died at a battle of Tel Chai, his last words were, "It's good to die for your country or your land," or something like that. He never said it. The whole thing's nonsense, but it's a Zionist legend. They took Jabotinsky's militancy, they took part of fascism, they took German vitalism, and they absorbed it from the secular Zionists through various conduits, and they have this religion. Now, if you're going to ask me, but they're Orthodox Jews, here's my answer. Coming to an Orthodox Jew like me, or to a normal regular Orthodox Jew that wasn't influenced by the Cook, the Father and the Son, is like going to
the Holy Spirit.
And I once wanted to write a book about Zionism about the settlers, called Father, Son, and the Holy Land.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's like going to the Pope or someone from the Catholic Church and say, well, you just said Zionism is not part of Christianity. What are you going to say about the evangelicals?
Sure.
So the Pope will say, you know what? Yeah. It's a different religion. We're Protestants, we're Catholics, they're Protestants. But somebody who doesn't know the difference will say, yeah, but you both believe in Jesus as the Messiah, as Son of God, the Trinity, the New Testament. Come on, you're not two religions. No, I'm telling you, the Pope would say, we are not the same religion. And I heard from Catholics that they were taught even they're not even real Christians, the Protestants, okay? To us, the distance between non-Zionist Jews and the settlers is greater than the distance between the Catholics and the Protestants. They are idol worshippers.
What does the Jewish Talmudic literature say about Molech? Let's go to the Talmud Sanhedrin, section 64a. It reads, "He who gives his seed to Molech incurs no punishment unless he delivers it to Molech and causes it to pass through the fire. If he gave it to Molech but did not cause it to pass through the fire, or the reverse, he incurs no penalty unless he does both." The Mishnah teaches idolatry and giving to Molech. Rabbi Abin said, our Mishnah is in accordance with the view that Molech worship is not idolatry, for it has been taught, if one causes his seed to pass through the fire, whether to Molech or to any other idol, he is liable, in other words, to death. Rabbi Eliezer, son of Rabbi Simeon, said, if to Molech, he is liable. If to another idol, he is not.
Zionism is idol worship because it changes Jewish identity. It changes all these concepts in Judaism. And if you are an Orthodox Jew that believes in Zionism, like the settlers do, you are like in the days of the Baal worshippers, when Elijah the prophet told the Orthodox Jews who were worshiping the Baal, how long are you going to try to play both sides? If you believe in God, worship him. If you believe in the Baal, go worship him. There were religious Jews who worshiped God and the Baal. These guys are worshiping God and Zionism. And I would say to them the same thing. Look, if you want to be Zionists, go take off your yarmulke and, be like Netanyahu. If you want to be Jews, be a Jew. But this combination of it's a different religion as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yes, we have things in common. I have things in common with the Muslims. The first cause necessary existence God. I have things in common with the Christians. We have the 10 Commandments. We have all of these things. And I have stuff in common with the settlers also. We keep Shabbos, we eat kosher food, but for all practical purposes, we consider them idol worshippers. Right. So yeah, and anybody can interpret the Talmud any way they want. Look, the Christians tell me that Jesus is in the Old Testament. They come to me, the missionaries believe in Jesus, okay?
Right.
The Muslims will tell me believe in Muhammad because he's in your holy books too. Jews, anybody can say whatever they want, okay? That's what makes different religions, okay? No problem. The Zionists can say that Zionism is in the Talmud, it's in my book, it's in, I don't care if they say it's in the Quran, it's in the New Testament, they can say whatever they want. They got it from prophecy, I don't care. By the way, some Zionist rabbis said, because they don't have any better proof texts, that they can tell they have like prophecy or stuff like that, or some direct line to God. They can say whatever they want. But it's two completely different ideologies. Regular Judaism and Zionism are completely different ideologies. You want to be a settler, but no.
Don't mix.
Yeah, please, just
Not kosher.
and that's the
Like
problem.
mixing seafood and what is it?
Meat and dairy, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
See that this is
It's
also part of
traits.
it. I would love if Israel would exist. Right now, it doesn't. It's just a doing business name. There's the nation state of the Jews doing business as the state of Israel. Make an Israeli nationality. Make an Israeli nationality. Make one person, one
Leave
vote.
us out of it.
Leave us out. Stop the Jewish state. That's all I ask. Is it too much to ask for some guy
Apparently.
6,000 miles away? Leave me out of your adventures.
Apparently
Leave me
it
out
is,
of it. And to anybody who's listening to this, whether they're Jewish or Christian or Muslim or Hindu or whatever they are, it's not something I'm saying now. Decades, over a century, we've been saying that. Judaism has nothing to do with Zionism. If Zionists say it does, yes. The secular Zionists made a Marvel comic character out of a deity. They made a political homeland out of a holy land. The religious Zionists, guys like the settlers, these guys have both. Yes, they have Orthodox Judaism in common, but please don't associate me with those guys. It's a different religion. The distance is greater than that between the Pope.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.